A suburban woman fights for life after being gunned down in her driveway. Plus, in a special report, we'll go high into the skies to catch a criminal. And new hope for less pain during a common medical procedure for women. CBS 19 News starts right now. This is CBS 19 News with Denise DeFalla and Gretchen Carlson.
Good evening, everyone. Right now, police have caught the man they believe shot a woman in her own driveway today. And that woman was the man's wife. Mike O'Mara joins us live with the latest.
58-year-old Evelyn Combs moved in with her brother in Eastlake because she was afraid to death of her husband, and with good reason. Their pending divorce was going badly, and today police say he drove all the way from Cincinnati, shot her in the face while she was out raking the leaves. Tonight in Eastlake, detectives and patrolmen alike are frustrated. There was nothing else they could have done to stop the violence.
The man today drove 5 hours with 2 automatic weapons. A piece of paper would have meant nothing to him.
By the time Eastlake police arrived this afternoon, the shooting was over.
And then as I come back now, I heard her start screaming, crying, and I looked back out, and she was cowering down, crawling and holding herself, and he was on the other side of the car, coming around her with the gun and shooting at her.
While she's down?
Yeah. Oh. Then he turned around and walked down the driveway and turned back again and shot at her.
But she kept saying, it was Benny, it was Benny. I heard my stomach is on fire, and he had a black leather jacket on. Help me, help me, help me.
Rescue workers life-flighted Evelyn to Metro, where doctors have been working to stop the bleeding from the gunshots. At least 3 bullets ripped into Mrs. Combs, including one in the face. Tonight, she is listed in stable condition.
Today, we were lucky in that she lived. It was target specific. There were other people that were very close and in plain view of the man who he didn't shoot.
Just about 2 hours ago, the husband was arrested as he returned to his home in Cincinnati, and the Eastlake police are right now on their way to go pick him up. Denise, back to you.
All right, thanks, Mike. A pan of grease left on the stove may have caused a fire that killed a 1-year-old girl, her mother, and a friend. It happened in Uricksville, about 90 miles south of Cleveland. Now, investigators say smoke filled the apartment this morning while the people inside were sleeping. According to fire officials, there were no smoke detectors. Little Destiny Kinsey, Stephanie DeCesare, and Richard Flickinger all died of smoke inhalation. And the investigation of another deadly fire has turned into a murder case now. Police say someone set the house on fire on East 74th that killed a woman and a 2-year-old boy last week. 2-year-old Lorenzo Clark died in the flames. 39-year-old Ardella Polk died after trying to escape the fire, jumping out the window. Police have 2 suspects but haven't made any arrests. It's been known as the neighborhood of blight for years, but now hope is springing up in Huff. Betty Halliburton shows us how on the Night Beat.
I got 2 brothers and 1 little sister, and I'm the only one out here right now trying to help my mother do something.
22-year-old Toriano Burton had 2 brothers. One was killed in a shooting. The other is behind prison walls.
How has Youthville changed your life?
Keep me off the streets, because if it weren't probably from Youthville, I'd probably be in jail or something by now. But, you know what I'm saying, the police don't bother me.
The participants are gutting out this building and will begin rehabbing structures on Monday through a $280 million grant project.
We started 2 years ago. We recruited 2,500 young people from the street with the thought in mind of getting them into some kind of gainful employment.
Each one of those 2 windows, one would be 3.5.
The next step was constructing a way out for the participants by providing education, support, and skills like plumbing and carpentry that would enable them to rehab their own neighborhood.
This is just one of the many facilities being rehabbed under the Youth Build program. But not only are these young people rehabbing homes, they're building futures for themselves and their families.
I have 2 children. I'm, on welfare. I was on welfare, and I'm trying to make it better for my children because welfare is not for me. And, and this is a way out.
And Youth Build is also building self-esteem and self-worth.
By me being in the program, I get to be a part of, to rebuild it. And I feel good about that.
And Councilwoman Lewis has done wonders with her ward and is hoping one day these young people will be able to build homes like these for themselves and their loved ones. In Huff, Betty Halliburton, CBS 19 News.
A couple of former presidents are trying to make sure Bob Dole gets their old job. Yeah, they accompanied the Republican candidate as Campaign 96 took him to Ashland today. Christy Carlson was there.
Two former presidents ranked the Republican candidate who wants to follow in their footsteps. Wants to so badly, in fact, that he's pledged to campaign around the clock between now and Election Day, making only brief stops at hotels to freshen up.
Where once I was known as the president or former president, now I'm either the owner of Millie, Barbara's husband, or the father of the governor of Texas. So
after joking about his identity crisis, former President George Bush laid out the issue that Bob Dole is hoping to ride to the White House.
I believe, and I hope Barbara and I conducted ourselves in this manner in the White House, that character matters.
The theme was echoed again by former President Gerald Ford.
I can tell you this, listen carefully, a Dole White House will be drug-free.
The message was well received, as were the messengers.
It was exciting. I've never seen any president or former president, and it was just a really exciting thing.
Christy Carlson, CBS 19 News.
Well, Cleveland grabbed its share of the national political spotlight tonight with a visit from the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Reverend Jackson spoke at the Cathedral Church of God in Christ on the city's east side. His message, the difference African Americans can make when they go to the polls. People came not only for the message, but also the music. 11th District Congressman Louis Stokes was also on hand to speak about the importance of voting.
And President Clinton spent the day campaigning in California. He was in San Diego where he addressed what he calls the arms race for political money between Republicans and Democrats. Now, the president said he supports setting limits for campaign spending among candidates for Congress. Ohio Democrats say they're already looking toward Election Day with an eye of optimism. As Scott Newell tells us, they're focused on more than just the presidential prize in a story that's new at 11.
He answers questions better. Like at the last part of the debate.
They talk politics a lot. Lisa Kramer and her son Daniel both agree that Bill Clinton will emerge victorious on Tuesday.
There's a hopeful confidence, and I think it's going to be borne out on Election Day.
The Democrats' confidence was building in August when Lisa was part of the Ohio delegation to the party's national convention. A longtime friend of Hillary Clinton, she says Ohio voters are now seeing plenty of reasons to re-elect the president.
More jobs, whether it's unemployment at an all-time low, whether it's an increase in spending on issues that people in Northeast Ohio feel strongly about.
I am very proud of the Democrats.
Clevelander Andriana Sims, another Ohio delegate, agrees.
I think they have stuck to their guns on the education issue, on the crime issue.
That hits home. Andriana's twin brother, Eric, was murdered trying to break up a fight at a gas station on Superior. When it comes to the crime issue, Bob Dole has made a bad impression on Andriana.
To me, he didn't address it where I could understand that he would take firm action against those who committed crime.
In the Kucinich-Hoke 10th District congressional race, there are images of unusually high amounts of political action committee money being spent. That concerns many Democrats.
Hoke had attacked Kucinich on receiving PAC money when, in fact, he himself had received PAC money.
Democrats are hoping Kucinich will get some mileage from President Clinton's coattails. Ditto for Tom Coyne against Republican Congressman Stephen LaTourette. That's Lisa Kramer's district.
I think that race is probably too close to call.
Lisa Kramer lives here in Chagrin Falls, a bastion of Republicanism. They even have a Republican headquarters here this election, something they didn't have last election. But even here in Chagrin Falls, there's not a lot of confidence in this ticket. Bob Ullman thinks the Clinton coattails may hurt his Republicans.
I'm afraid they will, because people are short-sighted.
But the Democrat sights are clearly on a big win in Ohio, and with an unprecedented appearance by the president and vice president and their spouses scheduled for Cleveland this Monday, Democrats sense good things coming Tuesday. On Tuesday, we'll know. Scott Newell, CBS 19 News.
And of course, CBS 19 News will have complete coverage on Tuesday of all the Election Day news.
And here's a look at what's still to come tonight.
Coming up on CBS 19 News, it's a medical procedure many women have to have. On the Health Beat, Dr. Rose shows you how it just got easier and less painful. Lots of kids say they want to be like Mike, but now we'll tell you why you can smell like Mike. Go undercover, high above the city. Coming up next on CBS 19 News at 11. Plus snow in Carey's forecast.
34 degrees right now. It's feeling kind of cold and it's cloudy. Is the snow around the corner? I've got the forecast. It's coming up.
You're watching CBS 19 News.
There's a secret Lee Weingart doesn't want you to know. He's a Republican. Weingart is a Republican lawyer in the tradition of extremist Newt Gingrich, whose priorities are not those of working families. Republican Weingart concocted a scheme to use RTA funds to pay for Art Modell Stadium. Democrat Jane Campbell fought to make laws on drunk driving tougher and passed a law to increase penalties for selling drugs near schools. Jane Campbell, Democrat. She's always fought for families, and she always will.
When Newt Gingrich and Congressman Martin Hoke wanted to fund a tax break for the wealthy, they tried to cut Medicare by $270 billion, forcing every senior to pay over $1,000 more in Medicare premiums. If that weren't enough, Gingrich and Hoke also tried to let big corporations raid their employees' pension funds, robbing us of a secure future. Tell Congressman Hoke to stop voting to raid pensions and slash Medicare. It just goes too far.
Have you ever misplaced $50,000 around the house, left it in a cookie jar, and just forgot about it? Well, Congressman Hoke forgot he bought $50,000 in GTE stock. Then, coincidentally, he voted to increase the value of that stock by 40%. Hoke now says he didn't know he owned the stock, can't produce the name of his broker, and won't release his taxes to prove he didn't cash in on any other votes in Congress. $21,000 profit on a single vote, and Hoke says he didn't even know he owned the stock. Is this guy lucky or what?
WeatherNet is sponsored by Progressive Auto Insurance. And now, CBS 19 News continues.
Well, what would you call a police vehicle that could cross the city in minutes, outrun any car on the road, and answer 7,000 radio calls a year?
Well, Cleveland police call it a helicopter. And tonight, reporter Wally Griffith and videographer Ed Laludis take us on an exclusive flight with the Cleveland Police Aviation Unit to catch a criminal.
We'll assist his own cars. We'll handle radio assignments. It's basically just like a police car, only in the air.
I'd be advised, I just got an update. Shots fired at this location, connection with the fight.
We can get on a scene a lot faster than the regular police car, and we can observe things that they won't even see.
Look to your left. Look to your left area.
Basically anything that's outside, such as drug activity, a fight in the street, we can handle.
Males disturbing and acting rowdy. Had Tupper to check it out.
8 hours a night, 5 nights a week. The Cleveland Police Aviation Unit is patrolling the skies of the city looking for trouble. And from up here, they can see plenty of it.
They got shots fired down here, 6-4 in Francis.
The chopper is valuable because it's so fast. They can cross the city in minutes. They also have one of the most powerful weapons in the police arsenal, the spotlight.
Just imagine looking for a suspect at a dark murder scene, and you can see how valuable the light can be. Police on the ground.
If there's a foot chase in backyards and it's dark out, we'll light up the area for them. Plus, if there's a suspect running, we can keep them in sight at all times.
We spent several nights flying along to get a first-hand view. This night was particularly busy. Just moments into an east side patrol, pilot Dennis Sport sees a white flash, what appears to be gunfire.
We just got the call for a drive-by shooting occurred at 650 East 125. Gotta be them. Black van headed towards St. Clair.
It's hard for us to keep up in a car chase or in a foot pursuit.
Now he's taking off again.
Once we get somebody from the air, they basically can't get away from us.
Thank you, Chopper.
One capture.
Within half an hour, another call for help, this one from officers on the west side, chasing a suspected burglar in the Edgewater neighborhood. The chopper is there in minutes.
Got a foot chase out here on a burglar.
Southbound on foot.
The chopper sweeps backyards with the spotlight as officers on the ground set up a perimeter, trying to box the burglar in.
Male has on white shorts, red top.
In this shot, you can see the suspect running, trapped in a brilliant flood of light.
Has a tan baseball cap.
Nowhere to hide, he is arrested by officers on the ground.
Well, we had a burglar evidently got into someone's house and stole some property. And with the assistance of our chopper and all the units that showed up, we were able to find them. And we recovered the property.
Aviation is one of the department's smallest units, 3 choppers and 6 full-time police pilots. It's also one of the busiest. Choppers can average 40 to 60 radio calls a night. Such qualities don't come cheaply. But to police on the ground, the reassuring sound of rotors overhead is priceless.
Thank you, Chopper, 2042.
Wally Griffith, CBS 19 News.
Thank you, Chopper. At 2047, Chopper thanks all cars responding over there.
I don't know if I'd want to be going up in the air at all tonight, or just outside for that matter. It's going to be a cold one, huh, Carrie?
Yeah, it's already kind of chilly out there. Wind's not too bad, but from time to time over the next 36 hours or so, we could, in fact, have some visibility problems. Looks like not a bad night out there for a little bit of football in the sense of the European way they describe soccer over there. Of course, we have football as a different game there. Ed Laluda shot those pictures. Roger Lumpkin shot those pictures. I'm sorry. Sorry about that there. 44 for a high temperature today, 32 for a low temperature this morning. Let's now take a look at some radar pictures over the last 6 hours. You can see that there is some rain and snow in these pictures. There's rain off to the east, well off to the southeast of us, but it's all snow up here to the lee side of Lake Erie, up there across western New York, northwestern Pennsylvania. Now, the winds today have been out of the southwest, and that's been taking that lake moisture up to the north and east of us. However, now the winds are beginning to shift more out of a westerly direction, and that's going to drive some of those snow showers in across the area, and especially off to the east of the city, over in the snowbelt area. I don't think there's going to be much in the way of accumulation. If there is any in the grassy areas, it will be off to the east of the city. And you can see now the swirl of clouds associated with this upper-level low-pressure system, which drops down from James Bay a little bit farther south, and as it does, we're seeing the colder air wrap around that, and that's why I think there is going to be at least some snow shower activity here in the next 36 hours or so. Temperatures all in the 30s right now, and barely so. Like at the Akron-Canton Airport, 30 degrees there. Mansfield at 30 degrees. Off to one of our progressive neighborhood WeatherNet locations, the Garrett Morgan School. Their current temperatures at 37 degrees. They've seen a peak wind gust today of 23 miles an hour. Let's now show you what, in fact, we're forecasting for the United States tomorrow. Not bad, kind of cool across the western United States, but a lot of sunshine out there. But in our area, we are going to see those snow showers here and there. And again, it's going to be a breezy, cold day with high temperatures only in the 30s. Your G-Beagle Traveler's forecast for the United States tomorrow. Chance of a thunderstorm for Phoenix, 80 for a high temperature there, 85 and a thunderstorm for Miami. It's going to be mostly cloudy up the eastern seaboard there from New York to Atlanta, and a sunny 60 for Denver. Here's your forecast overnight tonight. A few snow showers around, 27 for a low temperature. Winds out of the west at 5 to 15 miles an hour. Tomorrow, only about 38 for a high temperature, a little bit colder than what we saw today and yesterday. Winds out of the west at 10 to 20 miles an hour. And your 5-day forecast is going to show you that chance of snow showers tomorrow, and potentially early on Sunday there could be a snow shower here and there, but I think Sunday afternoon not too bad. A little bit of sunshine there and up into the mid-40s and the mid-50s as we head toward Monday and Election Day. Tuesday right now looks pretty good.
Well, that's good. That'll determine how many people get out.
Yeah, a rare nice day on Election Day.
Okay, thanks, Carrie. Well, he's already got sneakers with his name on them. Now he's got his own scent. That story is topping tonight's Money Beat. Michael Jordan cologne will be in stores this coming Monday, and they say it's light as air and is the first fragrance developed by a U.S. athlete. Now, a 1.7-ounce bottle will cost, what else? $23.
Wow. Well, educational toys used to mean encyclopedias and chemistry sets, but not anymore, thanks to a store that opened in Mayfield Heights tonight. Zany Brainy, a Philadelphia-based chain, specializes in toys that make learning lots of fun. Now, the kids at tonight's grand opening were so eager to learn, they even peppered our photographer with questions.
Is it really on TV right now?
Besides toys, Zany Brainy features children's authors and entertainers. I'd love to hang out there, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's more news ahead. We'll be back in a minute.
Still to come on CBS 19 News, good news for women who need to be tested for breast cancer. And it's tip-off time. Jeff Phelps will cover the courts of the Cavs and the rest of the NBA. You're watching CBS 19 News.
The news that works for the city that works.
CBS 19 News at 11 is sponsored by Jeep Eagle.
We know this is probably the last thing you want to think about right now. So don't. Think about this. Jeep Grand Cherokee for only $349 a month. Or Jeep Cherokee Sport, now just $325 a month. Both have Jeep's legendary four-wheel drive system to get you through the deepest snow. So head over to your local Jeep and Eagle dealer today to take advantage of these deals. Then we won't even have to think about this again. See your Superstar Jeep and Eagle dealer today.
Don't be fooled by Issue 1's fancy ads.
Casino promoters say Issue 1 will help our schools.
The Cincinnati Post says that argument is a hoax, and the School Board Association calls it a gimmick.
They say Issue 1 will bring new jobs.
The Plain Dealer says casinos will bring bankruptcy, moral decay, and crime.
No wonder Ohio newspapers, citizen groups, law enforcement leaders, and the Ohio School Board Association all say vote no.
Join me and Ohio's leaders and vote no on casino gambling. Vote no on Issue 1.
Out on a farm, you become independent. You have to think for yourself. So I don't believe in party labels, but in individual candidates. Take Supreme Court. Justice Andrew Douglas and Judge Mariana Brown Bettman are as different as night and day. But they agree on getting tough on criminals, worker safety, and protecting families. And that's more important than partisan politics. Don't believe me, just look at the record. Bettman and Douglas are the most qualified candidates for the Ohio Supreme Court. Now that's using your head.
Continental Airlines, the highest-ranked airline for flights 500 miles and more in the 1996 frequent flyer J.D. Power and Associates study.
A group of doctors in our area have a new weapon in the battle against breast cancer.
It's a new machine called Advanced Breast Biopsy Instrumentation, or ABBI for short. Dr. Rose Gabriel has the story on tonight's Health Beat.
I had a mammogram and they saw something which they did not like.
Mary Quattro of Mentor is now having a biopsy on that suspicious-looking tissue in her breast.
They're very faint, tiny calcifications right here. So that's what Dr. Malgiri is going to biopsy.
But the procedure today will take 1 hour instead of several because her surgeon, Dr. James Malgiri, is using ABBI.
Well, the ABBI machine takes what used to be a two-part procedure and makes it into a single procedure done in a much shorter time with a smaller incision and much less trauma to the breast.
Mary lies on her stomach. A needle is inserted into the breast and a mammogram is taken to make sure the surgical team is on target.
In a number of different areas.
A small amount of tissue is removed with a cutter on the end of the tool actually holding the needle and then sent to pathology for analysis.
And the procedure is very, very simple. I felt myself. I could have had it done the old way, but I chose to have the new one.
Well, so far, in the 3 weeks the ABBI machine has been in operation, more than 24 women have joined Mary in that decision. Dr. Rose Gabriel, CBS 19 News.
And right now, Meridia Hillcrest Hospital is the only one in the state using ABBI, but doctors tell us that 2 more area hospitals are in line for one of those machines.
Well, just ahead on CBS 19 News, it was the first game of the season for the Cavs tonight.
Yeah, but for some high school football players, it was their last. That's coming up.
Tom Meyer, the investigator, is working for you. You may be getting ripped off at the supermarket.
No, without a doubt. That's criminal.
Tom Meyer and our hidden cameras go undercover to put the scales to the test.
This was a blatant amount that we got ripped off
You
on.
can't afford to miss this report Monday on CBS 19 News at 11. Jamie's late uncle is overstaying his welcome.
Your relatives, they come for like one night and they stay a week.
Monday at 7:30 on CBS 19.
What's this election all about?
It's about learning.
Dole wants to eliminate the Department of Education.
It's about jobs.
Dole opposed raising the minimum wage 10 times.
It's about economy.
Dole's risky tax scheme would raise taxes on $9 million.
It's about family.
Dole Gingrich tried to kill family and medical leave. Tried to cut Medicare $270 billion.
It's all about winning elections.
Actually, Mr. Dole, it's about our future.
Summit County can make a change in juvenile court with Judy Hunter. Hunter will end business as usual in juvenile court.
Only my plan will send the right message to violent juveniles.
Judy Hunter for Summit County Juvenile Judge.
Now in Summit County, many criminals here.
I'm going to give you the maximum sentence.
From Judge Whitmore. Judge Whitmore just set an all-time Summit County record for the longest sentence ever imposed. With your vote, Judge Whitmore will keep doing her job for a safer Summit County. Judge Whitmore.
Mary Lou, Shayla, smile.
With all the care you put into taking those pictures, bring your film somewhere that'll put as much care into developing them. Your Revco drugstore. We offer premium film processing. You'll get your pictures back the next day, or they're free. You'll get the sharpest, brightest photos and index prints. Organize all your photo memories. Daddy, Revco, a friend for life.
Tonight's sports report on CBS 19 News is sponsored by Revco, a friend for life.
A lot of folks are using that nasty R word to describe this season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's being called a rebuilding year. But the Cavs are looking at it a little differently.
Develop some of these young people that we have in looking down the road at the future of the organization.
And Mike's development year started tonight in New Jersey against first-year coach John Calipari and the Nets. Here come the young Cavaliers. Bob Sura started for Bobby Phills. Cavs were up by 9 in the first. Sura had 9 points. Second-round pick Reggie Geary. Lots of steals at Arizona. Now one with the Cavs. And his first NBA points. Cavaliers led by 12 in the first. Number 1 pick Vitaly Potapenko. He's 6'10", and he can shoot. Cavs led by 9 after the first quarter. Tyrone Hill, healthy again, back in the starting lineup and looking pretty strong. Time running out here in the first half. Terrell Brandon from Poughkeepsie. 3 points. One more time. Cavs led by 14 points at halftime. They led by as many as 22. Tyrone Hill had 19. Brandon had 25. It was a little closer later, but the Cavs win their opener, 90-77. They're in Washington on Channel 43 tomorrow night. Bullets were thrilled tonight. They played Felton Spencer and not Shaquille O'Neal in Orlando. Felton's defense, not the greatest. Chris Webber gets him right there. Webber had 19. The Bullets win it in Orlando, 96-92. Dennis Rodman's hair color for the start of the season. Best guess? Red. Bill just loves the red. The defending champion Bulls in Boston. Leading scorer, hey, surprise, Michael Jordan. He had 30 points. The Bulls win it, 107-98. Welcome to Miami, home of dancing girls. Pat Riley and former Cavalier Dan Marley. Dan better be in shape this year. 3 points right there. He played 42 minutes in his first game with the Heaters. He had 14 points. Miami wins it, 94-81. Well, at 6 o'clock, we mentioned that the last time Ohio State lost to Minnesota, Ronald Reagan was president. This gets even better here. The last time Ohio State lost to Minnesota in Columbus, Harry Truman was president. It was 1949. So it's not a big surprise that the Buckeyes are 35-point favorites over Minnesota for tomorrow's game in Columbus. Oh, look at this. The Brunswick Blue Devils. Home against Strongsville for the Pioneer Conference title. This was close. Game tied at 3, fourth quarter. 4th and 4. Brunswick going for it with a nice fake. At least our camera person thought so. Matt Chase catches the touchdown pass from Mike Hendricks. It was on a 4th and 4. Blue Devils get a 23-yard touchdown. They win it 22-3. John Sistone, after 32 years, is retiring as head coach at St. Vincent St. Mary. His last game against the Walsh Warriors, and John won't want to remember this one. The Irish had 29 yards rushing on 26 carries. Walsh looked good. Chris Denholm, a quarterback, to Mike Powers. 15 yards for the touchdown. Walsh wins this one, 45-0 tonight. Dr. Rose, a sedative, please. Maybe 2. Coventry at Manchester. This is Mike McElfresh for Manchester. He'll soon have his own deodorant. Mike took that to the 3. From there, Andy Kuzmits gets the score. Coventry's not undefeated anymore. Manchester wins this one, 21-12. And Gretchen has a new friend. You liked him, didn't you, Gretchen?
Yeah, you know, that's what we do on a Friday night when the news is over.
Sure.
That's what I'll be doing tomorrow after Ohio State beats Minnesota. Oh,
They will. Of course they will.
Still to come on CBS 19 News, and Elvis spotting in Cleveland.
But this Elvis really was spotted. We're going to explain coming up next.
Tonight's sports report on CBS 19 News has been sponsored by Revco, a friend for life.
My boys are fortunate. They know they're our #1 priority in life. But many Cuyahoga County children are not as fortunate. Their families are torn apart, and the children become the victims. I'm running for domestic relations judge to make a difference in their lives. Next to my family, public service is my #1 priority. I respectfully ask for your vote.
Lynn Arco Kelly, for Domestic Relations Judge.
What tough is the available new Ford Triton 5.4-liter V8. What tough does. What tough is. It's the wide open spaces of the world's only standard third door. What tough does. Tough is what tough does. The new Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Across Ohio, people are making up their own minds about the benefits of Issue 1.
I know what's good for my family. Jobs and money for schools. That's good for everybody.
More jobs means more people off of welfare and taking care of their families.
Our schools need money, but I don't want my taxes to go up. That's why Issue 1 makes sense.
I don't need politicians telling me what's good for my family. The way I look at it, jobs and more money for schools are good for everybody.
For jobs and schools, yes, on Issue 1.
Mayor Tom Coyne's been running a negative ad campaign of lies against Congressman Steve LaTourette. Why? So we don't look at Coyne's record. As mayor, Tom Coyne conspired to make up reasons to fire a female clerical worker for political reasons. The federal court that considered the case ruled that Tom Coyne had acted maliciously and with improper motive, violating her civil rights and ordering Coyne to pay thousands of dollars in damages. Now that we know what Tom Coyne has done as mayor, how can we ever trust him in Congress?
A horse is a horse, unless, of course, he's Elvis. Here's what we're talking about. Elvis is one of 4 miniature horses in Cleveland right now with the Ringling Brothers Circus. Now, each of the pint-sized ponies has a rock star's name. Today, Elvis and his partners Ringo, Freddie Mercury, and Buddy Holly let us in on a special training session as they rehearsed their new act. Wonder if they sing.
I don't know. I don't know. But I know all of us are rehearsing that familiar act of wearing coats and gloves. Carrie, we going to need him this weekend?
Yeah, it's pretty chilly out here right now, and especially tomorrow morning. It is going to be chilly down into the 20s and a few snow showers around. I'm not expecting much, if any, in the way of accumulation. If there is any accumulation, it'll be off to the east of us.
Snow showers. Okay, I guess we have to deal with it. That's going to wrap it up for us here at 11. Dave Letterman is up next with Dana Carvey and Stupid Human Trick. That ought to be good. Thanks for sharing your time with us, and be sure to join Scott and Amy tomorrow for CBS 19 News at 7 and 11. Good night. Good night, everyone.